One more little demo with the VRL. So to demonstrate the calibrator. It's currently off. I'll switch it on to 1 megahertz. And we're on range D, which is the lowest frequency range, tuned to 2 megahertz. Turn the RF gain down a little bit, because I've got this coupled to the antenna socket. So there we have the calibrator signal. Switch it off, switch it on. So this is 1 megahertz. So to tune up the band to say 3 megahertz, which is just coming onto view there at the bottom of the scale. So 3 megahertz. And switch it on to 100 kilohertz. So we should get a pip at every 100 kilohertz section now. Which we do. It's very useful to have the 1 megahertz on the higher frequency bands as well as the 100 kilohertz. The dial accuracy is pretty good, and there's no adjustment at the low frequency end of the dial. It's just a trimmer at the upper end of the dial. The tuning eye actually works. It's a bit dim, but it actually works. We'll get it back up to 2 megs. Actually, no, I'll put it down to 1.6. That's the 100 kilohertz pip at 1.6 megahertz, and I'll switch on to the 10 kilohertz pips. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, almost 13. There should be 10 between 1.5 and 1.6 megahertz. There should be 10 kilohertz pips, and there's 13. So why is that? Well, it doesn't use the crystal as a combined 100 kilohertz and 1 megahertz crystal, which this 6K6 tube is the oscillator. But for the 10 kilohertz pips, it relies on this tube, which is a dual triode, 6C8. And this is a multivibrator, standalone multivibrator. And the frequency of this is set by a couple of capacitors and a couple of resistors, like in any other multivibrator. And I didn't change out the resistors in this. I left them as they were, and they drifted a bit. So maybe they drifted a bit too much. Well, the capacitors have drifted. They're silver mica, 1000 picofarad capacitors, so perhaps they've drifted as well. Anyway, it's oscillating too high. So it's too high, too low. Too low, which is probably right, because the resistors have probably gone high in value. So we're getting more pips per 100 kilohertz segment than we should. So I may flip this chassis over tomorrow and check those resistors out. The capacitors probably are quite close. There's no way of adjusting it. There's no adjustment for it. So I'll check the resistor values and see if I can improve on that by putting a couple of new resistors in there at a closer tolerance. Anyway, I just wanted to demonstrate that. How much use a 10 kilohertz calibrator is questionable anyway. Might be okay on a VLF receiver, but not on a receiver that only goes down to 1.4 megahertz. But it would be nice to have it working properly. After a little more playing around with the crystal calibrator on the VRL receiver, I have realized that the 100 kilohertz crystal oscillator is still functional when the calibrator is switched to the 10 kilohertz position. and again it's coupled to the 6C8 tube on one of the plates of the 6C8 dual triode, which acts as a multivibrator. That's that tube there with the scope probe pushed near it. It's not actually touching it, it's just very loosely coupled to the grid of one of the triodes there, and observing the output from that on the scope. So the calibrator is off at the moment, but the interesting thing is when you switch it on to the 10 kilohertz position, you can actually see it lock. It oscillates at a slightly lower frequency to start with, sort of free running multivibrator, and then it locks onto the 100 kilohertz of the crystal. So I'll just switch it on, you can see that happen. Switch it on to this, that was switched completely off on and then switched on. Switch it onto the 100 kilohertz position, so you can't actually see it, but I'll switch it on to the 10 kilohertz position again. You'll see it lock on, and it's almost exactly at 10 kilohertz. So that's pretty impressive. It's a good way of making a free running multivibrator fixed frequency.